not sure how familiar you are with Minecraft and playing it, and also whether your student was using an iPad or a computer. Was he on an iPad or she on an iPad?
He was on his computer.
Computer. Okay,
Yeah.
so you might be familiar with this. I've just included this. This session isn't about beginning with Minecraft, it's about taking it a bit further. But if you are a complete newbie, there is just some of the keyboard commands that are useful. So you can see these 6 keys highlighted here. The W, A, Q, and S are for moving around. And then the numbers here are for accessing things in your inventory, and the E is to access your inventory as well. And the spacebar lets you fly and jump and do all sorts of things. The other thing with Minecraft, if you haven't played it before, is it's also really handy if you have a mouse, because you can see in this diagram the scroll wheel helps you navigate, and the left and the right buttons are really useful for building and destroying and placing blocks and things like that. So if you're just using a trackpad on your laptop, that can be quite difficult as well. So if you are doing Minecraft with your students, or you're looking after students who are doing Minecraft, it's always good to have some mice handy that you can get the students to use when you're using Minecraft. And with that, I'll stop sharing this presentation and just show you a few things before we get going. So today's session, if I can move my toolbar, apologies. Today's session, we'll be looking at going further with accessibility, collaboration and assessment. And what we'll be going through is in this KB article here on edit. So I'll just pop that into the chat there so that you can reference that afterwards as well. So let's jump into the communication and recording tools. So if you haven't already got it open, can you open up your Minecraft for Education? So if you don't have it pinned down here, it might be a search for Minecraft on your computer. If it isn't installed, you're going to struggle with this. You might just have to watch what I'm doing and then have a play after the session. And then if you can just give me a thumbs up once you've got Minecraft open. We are just going to be in a play world by ourselves to begin with, and then hopefully, depending on how we go, we'll see if we can join one world when we're looking at the Classroom Mode Companion app.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out how to get open that Minecraft education.
Okay, so if it isn't pinned, if you go to search.
Just any normal search?
Yeah. So it's actually, Minecraft is actually an app that needs to be installed on your computer.
I wouldn't have it on mine. My son would, but I wouldn't.
Okay. So you might struggle with this bit then, but hopefully you can get a bit of understanding just through looking. And I'm going to pronounce your name wrong unless you come off mic and tell me how to do it properly. Apologies. But Hafarina, have you got Minecraft installed? Not sure if they've got a mic. Okay, well, I might just move on then. Hopefully someone has, otherwise I've got another computer for when we get to that section later. But when you get into Minecraft, you've got this, you've got the new and featured where you'll find new lessons come in, but we're just going to hit play. And then in this section, we've got some different possibilities. Now, you might have explored the library before. If you do go into there, you've got all these worlds in the library that have been pre-created for you, and most of these have associated lessons that you can look at and access and adapt for your students. The biomes and worlds as well is a really cool place to get started. The feature worlds has a lot of different possibilities in terms of worlds that are suitable for using with students. You can see in here there's a whole lot that might be useful. I'm just going to go into the blocks of grass because I'm just wanting a flat world. But if you have got Minecraft open and you are playing along with me, feel free to jump into any world. So I'm going to create this world. Now, when I create it, after it's created, I'm just going to go into the settings and turn off a few settings. And to do that, I'm going to press Escape on my keyboard and hop into the settings here. And then in the settings, most of these I want to keep, but I am going to just go down to cheats and check that I've got always day on, and the weather cycle is toggled off. So that's all good, but your world might not have those cheats on. Just with the cheats, if I toggle that off, it means that every 24 minutes in Minecraft, there'll be a night. So I'm going to keep it as day. And again, with the weather cycle, if I toggle that on, I'll get rain and all sorts of interesting weather patterns. But I'm just going to keep it on sunny, nice weather for this session. Okay, and that will all save, and I'm going to just click back into my settings. Now, again, I might be tempted to click on this save and exit, but that will actually kick me out of the game. So whenever you do anything in here, rather than going for this button, you need to go up to this resume game up the top. Okay, so I'm in my Minecraft world. Minecraft, if you're not aware, is a sandbox game, which means that it is never ending and you can create whatever you'd like, whatever your imagination allows you to, especially if you're in creative mode, which this world is. So there are a few modes, and your students, if they play Minecraft, normal Minecraft, not Minecraft Education, would be very familiar with these. And they're probably playing survival, but creative is what we want to use if we're wanting students to be able to access anything from what we call the inventory. So I am going to go into the inventory, which is E on my keyboard. If you are using an iPad, the inventory you can get to, you'll have a toolbar down the bottom of the iPad with a little button to the right of these boxes that you'll see, and you can get to your inventory from there. Now, normally, before we look at these assessment tools that we are going to be looking at today, we would have already done some building, because these tools that we're wanting to use or wanting to place in our world are tools that we can use or get students to use to record their thinking and their learning around what they've built in Minecraft. So I'm just going to put a block of wood down so I can build something. But then in my inventory, I'm going to get some of these tools. So probably the most useful one is the camera. So if I search, I can get the camera, and again, I'm just clicking and dragging. And if you're in the iPad, you can just click in the inventory box and it will come in. So the camera lets me take photos of what I've built or myself in my Minecraft world. Another really handy one is a portfolio. And what this one does, it allows me to use the photos that I've just taken with my camera and put some writing against those so I can write captions. Another tool that is really handy for recording is something called the Book and Quill. It's this one here. And very similar to the portfolio, but this one doesn't allow me as much text. And then we've got a few more tools that allow us to add writing and instructions, but we've only got a few more boxes in our inventory. So let's put in a chalkboard. Oh, it's not going to come up. Let's try a board. There we go. And we also put in a poster. Looking very similar. And we also put in a sign. And you'll see there's all sorts of different variations of sign. Let's go for a green sign, and let's put in one of those as well. The other thing we want is a lectern so that we can read our portfolio. There we go. Okay, so now we've filled up our inventory, we're just going to close it down. And in Minecraft, if we're using a mouse, if we right click, we can place a block, and you can see on my screen that down the bottom in that toolbar, I've got the first box open, and that's why I'm placing these blocks of wood. And then if I want to get rid of them, I can left click. There is no undo button. So what you do in Minecraft, if you destroy it by accident, you have to rebuild, or there's no undo in Minecraft. Okay, I'm just going to move, so I'm just pressing W to move out of the way and have a look, and that's my fantastic building. But now I want to talk about why I built this to demonstrate my learning for my teacher or for my classmates. So let's get the camera, and that is number 2 in my inventory. So I just had to press 2 to get there. I'm going to place that camera down, and whoops, there we go. It's now going to take a picture of me, and in this case it's going to be a selfie because it's facing me, because I placed it right in front. I'm just going to move a bit further away and place or take a photo like that. So instead of placing my block, I'm just taking a snapshot there. So placing it on the ground and then right clicking lets me take a selfie. And then just having it in my inventory and clicking lets me take a picture of myself. So again, if students want to take a picture of themselves with what they've created, they need to stand in front of their thing, place their camera, and then they can take that selfie. And there I am with my building. Now I've taken all these photos. They're just in the Never, you can't find them. So that's where we get on to these other tools, the book and the quill and the portfolio. So let's go to number 3, the portfolio. I'm going to place this again with my right key, and you'll see it's already in there. All the photos that I've just taken are already in there. So maybe I don't want 2 selfies. Let's go back. I've got 2 of them, so I'm going to delete that. And if I want to, I can put in some text. So here I am with my 4 block area. Oop, it won't let me put much text in here, so maybe I want to change that. Here I am 4 blocks. So maybe I'm using this with maths and I'm wanting my students to create shapes or things with a certain perimeter or a certain diameter, and maybe I want them to take pictures of those shapes and then put in a little explanation. If I'm happy with this portfolio, it's going to keep on growing whenever I take a photo, but if I'm happy with how it is, I can click on this export portfolio. It's going to then save it as a PDF for me. So let me just save it on my desktop. So that's an easy way to get students to take photos and then export them out in so that you can use them outside of Minecraft. So if I go back into my desktop, here's that PDF there. And when it will move over for me, this is what it looks like when it's exported. So I've got my pictures there and I could save those images from my PDF reader. Okay, so down here as well, we've got this little icon here. This is Immersive Reader, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But we're going to have a look now at the book and quill. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to now press 4 on my keyboard to get this book and quill. And I'm going to again place that down on the ground. So book and quill is a little bit different. I've got no pictures in here at the moment because they all went into that portfolio. So let's jump out. Let's take another photo. So I'm going to get my camera back by pressing, where is it? By pressing 2 on my keyboard and take snapshot. I'll take one of myself as well. And then I'm going to go back to 4 and get that book and quill and place that down. And now hopefully those pictures are in here. They're not. Right, that's how I get them in. Okay, so here are my pictures. I can choose what I want. I can type in here. Now, one thing to note about Minecraft is there is no spell check. So it is actually a really good way to force students to reread and edit their work because they're not going to see that red line. So here we might say, here I am. And if I make a mistake, it won't tell me. With my 4-block building, it has a perimeter of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's say it has a perimeter of 9 block lengths. So you can see you can put a lot more writing in here. So you could use it for students to record. You could use it for students to kind of build a story up. So they might build some different things, add lots of different photos in there, and then explain a story. So if they're one of those students that struggles with writing in paper but is really clever in Minecraft, this might be one of those ways that you can get them to show you a bit more what they can do through typing in Minecraft and using something that they really enjoy. Again, there's this Immersive Reader. I will click on this now. So Immersive Reader is found in all sorts of Microsoft programs, and I will need to share my sound. So let me just do that. But you can see it's taken my text.
Page 1 of 14.
And hopefully you can hear that.
Page 2 of 14.
It's going to read what's on there. So here's my text here. It will read it out.
Here I am with my 4-block building. It has a perimeter of 9 block lengths.
So their perimeter, I reckon I've spelt that wrong because it didn't sound right. So I could then go back in and change it. If you're not familiar with Immersive Reader at all, I highly recommend you have a bit of a play and a look at it. Doesn't have to be in Minecraft. It's in Word, it's in OneNote, it's in Teams, it's all over the place wherever you see that icon. But you would have seen it's got some picture dictionaries to support students. It also allows you to translate it. So if you're working with students where English isn't their first language, it will translate the text. Or if you are teaching another language, it will. You can use it for the students to translate what they've written or write in the language and see whether it will translate it back to English for them and vice versa. And there's a whole lot of different things that you can do. It was developed for students with dyslexia, so there's a whole lot of different settings that students can set to help them and support them with reading. Okay, so again, I can keep building this. It will still be there. I can go back in with number 3. Whoops, number 4. I'm still at page, or my blank pages, but those pages are still there. But once I'm finished, I'm going to sign it. I can put in a title. And sign and close, and then that will be published. So you might notice that it's changed color there. So now when I place it down, I can export it. And just like I did with the portfolio, it's going to export it as a PDF for me to use elsewhere. Okay. Oops. Right, so they're the main ones that you can use if you're wanting students to record what they're doing and use it out of the world or print it off or display it outside of Minecraft. But these other tools that we've got in here are really useful if you're wanting students to share their worlds with others and for other people to kind of explore their worlds and to add text and information for the people that might be exploring their worlds. So the next one I've got is a board, and if I place that one down, that allows me to add text within my world. So here is my 4-block, I think it might actually be 5 blocks, shape. I can unlock it, which means other people can write on it. I'm going to lock that one. And it's there so that anyone that was visiting my world could come and see it and say, oh, that's what this shape is. Boards you can see are quite big. You can put lots of text in there. If I'm right-clicking again, I can go in and edit it. I missed a full stop, for example. There isn't any immersive reader on those ones, though. The next one we put in was a poster. So this is slightly smaller. You can see it's a smaller area. Again, I can lock it, but again, that's really good. Or if I leave it unlocked, I might want visitors to give me feedback or comments in my world as well. So that's the next size, and you can see there it's quite a bit smaller. The next one is that signpost. And you can see this is even smaller, and it's not going to let me write on it, I don't think. Let's try again. Might be because it's warped and not a proper one. Let's get rid of that. And let's go back into our inventory and we just get a sign, a normal sign. Let's try that one instead. Hopefully this one works. Okay, here we go. So this is a sign. This is a sign. And you can see that one's smaller. I can't actually edit it again. So if I click in there now, oh, I can, sorry, I can edit it again, but I can't lock it. So yeah, again, a really good way for students to put in front of things that they've constructed and let people know what their constructions are about. This other one that we had, which is the hang sign, and you can put signs on buildings as well. But that one, I don't think I can place it there, but we give it a go. It's kind of like a swinging sign. Just a different type of sign. And then the last thing we've got in our inventory is the lectern. So the lectern allows us to place portfolios and book and quills within our world. So let's put that down. Let's get that book and quill and place that on the lectern. And then now when someone comes up and looks at that, they'll be able to read that book. So again, these ones here for visitors in the world, if you just want a small bit of text, but if you're wanting them to read more and see the photos and the journey that you've gone on to build whatever you built in your world or your students have built in your world, you can use that lectern. Okay, any questions around the different tools that we've just gone through? If you're able to give me a thumbs up if you have seen some new tools that you didn't know existed, or put in the chat if you knew all about them. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is something called NPCs, or non-playing characters. And these are found in all sorts of games, but they're really good in Minecraft because they allow you as a teacher or students to place as well to add more information and links and all sorts of things to make worlds more interactive. Now, if your students have ever played any of the worlds that have been created by Minecraft, you will come across NPCs all over the place, but we're going to put one in. So I'm going to resume my game. I'm going to walk over here, turn around and see my lovely creations, and I'm going to go back into my inventory. So I'm pressing E on my keyboard and I want an NPC. And again, if you have ever seen Minecraft before, you'd know that people and animals just don't appear as full animals, they come in as eggs. So this colourful egg here is an NPC egg. I'm just going to replace one of my things down there. Now, if I get that and I try and place it, it won't let me do it. So if you're wanting to place NPCs, you have to go into something called World Builder mode. And to do that, I'm going to press T on my keyboard to open up chat. I'm going to do a backslash, and then I'm going to type in WB for World Builder, and that's going to toggle it on. And now when I right click, I can place that. and there's my lovely NPC player. So if I click into that, I've got some options in here. I can change what it looks like. I can edit what it's going to say. I'm going to spell it wrong again, I think. I can also go into the advanced settings, and that's where I can do things like add URL. So if I want them to go and look at a particular website to get some information, for example, I could do that. Or I can add some commands like teleport the player to a place, etc. But we're just going to do the dialogue. So if I'm happy with that, I might rename it Beekeeper. Not sure if that is a beekeeper, but we'll keep it at that and close that down. Now, if I'm going to right click on him again, it's just going to bring up that editing block. If I want to see what it looks like for a student, I'm going to have to get out of World Builder mode again, so I can see what it's like for a student. So I'm going to press T on my keyboard again, do my \WB, and it would toggle it off. And quit my chat. And now if I right click, whoops, I think I needed to press enter. Let's try again. WB, there we go. And now when I right click on my player, I get what a student would see. And again, I've got this immersive reader icon, which I can click. And then it will load up. You'll notice it's kept those settings, so I changed it to green. It's kept those settings, so the student only needs to set that once. Okay, so NPCs are really handy for adding those instructions, or teach your students how to do them if they don't know how to put them in, and get them to add dialogues and instructions to their world as well. Okay. So I think the last thing we've got to go through, unless there's any questions about those ones, is something called the Classroom Mode Companion app. Now this is a separate app to Minecraft, but it's a companion app, so it can be used with Minecraft. Have either of you got it installed? If you just give me a thumbs up or type in the chat. If you don't, that's completely fine. Ah, you do, excellent. Are you already using it?
Not yet, because I don't know how to use.
Okay, perfect. Okay, only the teacher needs it installed. For a student, it's exactly the same as when they're playing normally. And it's used when you're wanting to do multiplayer worlds. So in Minecraft, you can have up to 40 students join the world in a multiplayer environment. Now, I'm just going to, make my Minecraft smaller. So this is basically where you can get the Minecraft mode app from. I'll just drop that in the chat. You can download it here. You can download it from the Microsoft Store. And when it opens up, it will always ask you to sign in with your @schools email. So I've got to put this in. I can't pre-do it. unfortunately. Okay, and so once you've logged in, what it will do is it will give you, hopefully, it will give you an IP address. So we just wait for that to log in. And what you want to do is you want to copy this. It changes every time, so you can't save it and just use it. You have to do it each time you want to use it. I'm going to copy that. And now I'm going to go back into Minecraft. Now, it can be a world that I've already created. It can be a world that another student has created. It can be a pre-built world. It can be any world in Minecraft. And I'm in my world and I want to press T again. And this time I'm just going to paste in that IP address in my chat. Now what this will do, hopefully it will pop up for me. It's going to connect to this Classroom app. I might just have to see if it will bring it up for me. There we go. So it's connected me. I'm the teacher. I'm the only one in here at the moment. How I get my students to join is I need to go in and get this code or start hosting the world. Hafrin, have you got Minecraft open or installed on the computer that you're using?
Yep, I already got installed in my computer.
Okay. If you open it up, we'll see whether we can do this. Otherwise, if we can't, I've got a recording that I can show you. But I'm going to start hosting my world. I'm going to confirm that I do, and that will give me this join code. So how students or players join a multiplayer world is through join codes in Minecraft. This will work, or people can join the same world as long as they're using the same tenancy. So they're using an @schools email address, and as long as they've got the same version of Minecraft. You're in Open Access College, I can see. So sometimes if you're not on the same network, you have difficulty, but hopefully it will work. This is the join code. I'll just pop it in the chat because that might be better. This as well changes each time. So it's a bucket and a carrot and not Steve, but the girl. I've forgotten her name. Alex, isn't it? And another bucket. And this code is only available while this code will only work while this world is open. I've just got my other computer on, so I'll just quickly join the world here. But if you're able to put in the code as well, we'll see if we can get you joined as well from Open Access College. Bucket, carrot, Alex, and another bucket. And so now you can see I've got 2 people in here, and you can see in my Classroom Mode app, I've got 2 people here as well. Not sure if you have been able to join. We'll see if you pop up. So what does this allow me to do? Well, if I go back into the game, I can see if I turn around, there's that second player there. Now that second player might walk off and disappear from view. I can't see them anymore. I don't have any clue where they are. But because we're in classroom mode, I can zoom out and I can say, oh, they're over here. If I want them to stay around this area, I can right click here and go teleport all. And then everyone who's in the world will come back here. So if I go back into my game, we'll be right on top of each other. So I'll just move out and turn around again. And there they are, they've come back. What I can also do is I can drag someone to another spot in the game. So again, if I'm wanting students to work in groups and I put them in, but I see that some have lost their way, I can drag and move them around and then they teleport to the spot where I've moved them to. You can see I've moved myself around in the game. The other thing you can do from here is you can do a chat. So I can put out a chat and it will go to all my students without me having to worry about commands. So please remember not to destroy other students' buildings. Again, it doesn't have spell check in there, so you might just have to remember to read what you've written before you press enter. In here as well, if my student wants to ask me a question, they can type something in their chat and it will pop up for me as a teacher to see. And then I've got some settings that I can change in here as well. So in here, I can pause the game, and that means that it's turned off for all my students. So really good if you need to bring everyone back to talk about something, explain something. And then unpause it again. The chat is turned off at the moment. That means that students can't chat with each other. But if you wanted to turn it on so that they can, you can do that in here. The weather cycle is turned off at the moment. We've got sunny days, but I could turn it on. And then these ones are mobs. So they're things that can kill you or destroy things, but they're also animals and friendly things as well. TNT and destructive blocks, you can turn that off so that people can't blow up things. And then these ones are more to do with if you were doing e-gaming and things like that. So PvP and health and damage. So that's basically the settings that you can control in classroom mode. I think the pause is probably one of the most useful settings because it does allow you to bring the whole class back. And then the chat allowing you to talk to people. I can also use and just send a command out to individual people rather than sending it out to the whole class as well. Sorry, I think that's probably brought us to the end of this session. I do have a couple of resources to share with you before we go. So I just wanted to mention that we do have some more Minecraft sessions coming up, one on coding and one on Redstone. And you can find all these from the Digital Skills dashboard on Blink, which you can get to from the Explore button and then Digital Skills. And then you can find lots of information on here about all things digital in the department, but also different courses that are coming up. So Minecraft is in here. We also have our YouTube channel, so there are videos around Minecraft in here as well, that you can access as well that are specific to our department. Whoops. There we go. Whoops. And with that, oh, and then the last place is we do have a Minecraft Academy, Teacher Academy, which you can join. So I post information in there, but there's also some resources that you can access from the files channel once it loads. So there's some worlds that you can download and use with your students, and some information around curriculum planning and things like that. So I'll pop that link in to the chat as well.